Hi, we're just waiting a little bit. We'll start our live stream shortly at 8 a.m. I'm just going to adjust a few things here and see if everything is all right, which I believe it is. And we've already started our live stream today. We're in Sao Paulo. In Sao Paulo. Let's see what we're going to do. Everything is reasonably good for us to start. Let's go. One. Just a minute and we'll start the live stream again with the intriguing topics, right? I like these topics that sometimes provoke us, that challenge our cognition, and make us search for meaning in them. Today's topic will be quite intriguing as well. Just wait and we'll start the live stream soon. Okay, it's 8 p.m. I'm in Sao Paulo, and today is January 14th, 2026. The title of today's live stream is The Seven Codes of Energy and the Code of the Body. Actually, these are two books that my nephew Jackson recommended to me. I had a very good therapy session with him, and it changed my way of being a lot. He suggested these two books for me to read or analyze and to give my perspective on them. I'm going to give a more optimistic view of the books, a view that focuses a little more on what they really add in terms of value, okay? That's my take on the book. The book always has its mystical parts, those parts I hardly ever go into, but the part that works, right? The part we like the most, the seven codes of energy and the code of the body. But before we start talking about these two books, which are the basis of a therapy, right, that my nephew received and found very good, it changed something in his life, mainly at the cognitive level, remembering things from the past, things like that. But before we begin, I'm going to try to tell you three things, three important things to help us identify the colonial errors we've made, the errors that have placed us in certain positions within life, within what you perceive life to be. And these positions are sometimes in conflict with ourselves, and these conflicts then need to be resolved through therapy or something else. And that's where the book comes in. That's where all these ideas come in. Let's go. The first concept I'm going to share with you, I might even forget some of the concepts at first. The first concept is this: the physical world is out there, energy going here and there, matter, energy, atoms. The physical world is out there, but within the physical world, take away the physical world itself. Within this physical, real, concrete, material world of energy and information, within this physical world, there are things that are organic, there are things that are inorganic, fantastic, organic things, inorganic things, fantastic. Our bodies are made of living cells, they are made of organic things. And our body, while we are regulating the living cells of our body, our cells are us. So we are our body. That's important. Some mystical or religious lines say, look, we are on this planet, but we are from another planet. No, in my line, we are us. The whole, we are the planet. So your cells that are inside you are you. We are this whole here. That's one level. So the level, what we are talking about in the world is physical, but organic things and non-organic things. I won't even talk about inorganic, non-organic things. We're going to focus on organic things, but let's talk about inorganic things a little bit. You are seeing me on video right now. Those who didn't have the opportunity to hear me speak or talk to me in person are seeing me on video now. What you are seeing is symbolic in the inorganic world. You are not seeing me in the reality where I am here. So you're perceiving something that isn't organic. What you're seeing are pixels, video, sound, and images that are being digitized. Do you understand? Ah, Jackson, why are you saying this? In the digital world, we have our representation, and the digital world has artificial intelligence. It has all these things which are non-organic things. They are non-organic things. But these non-organic things evaluate us, measure us, and give us data about us. Who is Jackson on the internet? Who is Jackson on the internet or in the digital world? It's an avatar. The avatar in the digital world is me, who can be a YouTuber, I can be an artist, I can be an actor, I can be a Hollywood star, all that stuff, but it's the digital world. The digital world is the non-organic world. So in this non-organic medium, you have a perception of being this avatar. You are not your avatar, you have the avatar. Sometimes this avatar also receives energy from money and feeds you, the real you, the body, the organic being who needs to drink, who needs to sleep. My avatar on the internet, I use some websites and they already have the knowledge to be able to speak and go in my place and do some things that are not me. The avatar has my profile and can speak. So look, I speak English, I speak Spanish because there's a translator, it goes there, and my avatar speaks those languages, but it's not me. So this is important for you to know. There is the organic world in the world. The world is physical, but there are organic and inorganic things, and we often identify with the inorganic things. This guy you're looking at and listening to, I don't identify with him. I use him to talk to people in the digital world, okay? Identifying with this person can be a hindrance from the start and cause a problem, and that's what these two books can help us with today. So, this is a real problem, okay? And I told you, so this is good. So, another thing we have, which I'm going to tell you, is an indigenous concept. There's an indigenous concept that says you don't learn from books, you don't learn from books. It's a concept that is sometimes misunderstood. In my view of this concept, you don't learn it from books, you only learn it through experience. You only learn it with your organic body. You learn it through your experiences. Some famous authors, whose names I don't know, used to say that people who read a lot end up talking about things they don't know. And it's true. You read a lot and start talking about things you don't know, things you haven't experienced. To live is to learn, to live is to know, to experience is to know. Reading is simply preparation for knowing, but reading is not knowing. But don't stop reading because it prepares you to know, right? Reading will prepare you to know. That's important for you. So look, we're talking about the physical world, organic and inorganic things, okay? And you are organic, and what appears on the internet or in a photo or video isn't you. Even the avatar isn't you. Don't get lost there. It's not you in the video. The photo of the relative you see isn't them. It isn't. That person doesn't exist in that photo, in that video. They don't exist. It isn't them. Because that's the inorganic world. It represents an idea of that person's existence, but it doesn't exist. No one in the inorganic world is represented. We are organic. We are this living structure that is moving now. You who are watching me, life is there within you, going to and fro, whether you are paying attention to me or not. And I who am speaking to you there am an avatar. It is an inorganic thing. The important thing is for you to experience life in the organic, in the real body. This is fundamental. These two concepts are very important. And now I'm going to talk about the third thing, which I saw in a movie, in a series. I'm watching the series for the second time. The series is a bit depressing. It's not that great, but it has some very strong ideas. It's Sandman, 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 Sandman. And it talks a lot about dreams. Dreams are interesting. So, in one part of the series, there's a part where the green violin is a dream character. The green violin is an old man. The green violin. And in one part of the dream, there is a girl who was Vortex asked him, "But after all, who are you?" Okay, so the girl who was Vortex asked this green violin, "Who are you?" Then the green violin looks at the girl and says, "Your question is wrong. You can't ask who I am. You should ask where I am." And that's the essence of the thing I want to leave with you. That's the essence of the thing. And this green violin was simply the agorization, the garden, the beauty, the emotion that is in the place. It was the essence of the place. So the idea I have is that when you speak, I'll put myself in the situation. I am Jackson. No, it's not good for you to say that you're Jackson. That's the name you have. You are where I am. You understand where I am all around me. So if I am in a church, what are you? I am a member of the church. If I am visiting a museum, what are you? I'm a museum visitor. So the question is not who you are, but where you are from. This changes and slightly loosens your mental structures that frees you into being what you're predetermined to be. Your father, your mother, the culture determined that you should be this way, and you are where you are. So that external environment regulates who you are. I'm going to try to come back to this several times so we can define this well, and I'm going to talk about it in both books now. So my nephew said I already did therapy. I didn't even pay attention to therapy. But then there's the result. The important thing about therapies is this concept, it's the result. Sometimes the process of belief, I lead you to believe in something so you can take these three steps. And after you've taken those three steps, you can eliminate the belief. You don't need to carry a belief after you've obtained the result. You can carry it, that's fine, but you don't need to anymore because the belief exists to act. And you take that belief and act. And when you act, you get the results. And I can't remain dependent on the belief that the result is because I believed. Yes, the result was because you believed, but now that you've obtained the result of a belief, you can change, make the belief more flexible, and continue to have the results. It wasn't the belief that gave you the result, but without it, you wouldn't have any result. I mean, the child is in this, you made you walk, but in other cultures, the child in that other different belief also makes you walk. So the problem, the advantage of the child is making you walk. So various children in various places at various times on planet Earth at various times, 10,000 years ago, a bus in Joinville walked from a very young age, and their children were totally different from ours. They didn't even have words like ours. It's a distinct communication, much more bodily, much more interruption, much more concrete reality in the organic body without much cognitive distraction was doing what I know, creating a different structure 10,000 years ago in this region. What we're telling you now is that belief leads you to do something that you must let go of afterward. Now let's talk about the books. This is an important aspect to highlight. The seven energy codes were by a woman named Dr. Sui Mata. What does she talk about? She talks about anchoring, breathing, chemistry, cleansing, heart, and spirit. She taps and then does a therapy, a body adjustment. Unlike osteopathy, it's something different. And from what my nephew said, I haven't done the therapies. I have to do them. I have to do them. I really like these therapies, okay? I have to do them. So I'm commenting on two books and I haven't done the therapies the books talk about. It's even a failing on my part because I have to feel it. Commenting on or reading the book won't give me the feeling. It won't give me the knowledge that I need, but I went with my nephew's idea, right? My nephew said it was very good, so I went with that idea. So this girl, the doctor, your immoral one, talks about anchoring breathing. Chemical cleansing heart, anchoring for me. If I put it in my language, you feel the now. You have to anchor yourself in the presence, the breath, all the breath. Remember when I tell you, if you have a tense self, every day you have a tense self. You have the self in the morning, you have the self at midday, you have the self in the afternoon, you have the self at school, you have the self riding a bicycle. The whole self is going to do something. When it's going to do something, the breath changes. Okay, so breathing acts as a self. Yes, breathing acts as a self. So when you change your breathing, the selves change. You are a legion of selves. It's not a one-day mistake, but when you identify yourself as just one person, that I is only identified with your avatar, which is you, a YouTube influence. It worsened. You stopped being organic and became an avatar, a YouTube influence. You became that get out, get out, get out, get out iron from the Matrix, the one who was a man, okay, and he wanted to stay in the Matrix. He didn't want to feel human things anymore. He wanted to already, even knowing it was a lie. He wanted to feel the Matrix. He wanted to feel only good things, only pleasure, happiness, love, peace, damn it. Pain exists in all environments, and this Seifert didn't want it anymore. He wanted to feel the lie, the completeness of life, the ideology, even if it was a lie, people living in that lie. Today, this far right ideology, the lie of hate, the ballot boxes were corrupted, it's all a lie with continued hatred, but he wants to live, okay? You want to live a lie. You're living in this world that's outside the organic. You'll take the digital part, the videos, images, internet, online information, and journalism, all that stuff together in your bubble, and you want to. Living something that isn't real is possible, but it's not good for you. So the problem is that what you want is to change your breathing. Your God will keep changing. It's just a breath that's drawing, enhancing the body's ability. If you're more focused, your breathing will be like that. You're very focused on something you have to do, but you can't get out of that thing. And sometimes you become so focused and superficial, then suddenly you leave. So you're stepping outside of yourself, you're switching between selves. I started lecturing, speaking to you all with that I, and now I'm breathing. And it's even a little more difficult because when you switch perspectives, sometimes the person who is speaking will switch their speech. And that's exactly it. That's really cool. If you breathe differently, the self changes. That's it. And this woman, Dr. Sue Morton, talks about anchoring now, living in the now, it's now, feeling the now, breathing. Then she talks about chemistry. It's another kind of chemistry she talks about in my language. It's all the emotions that can be affecting the body. You have to understand that. There are emotions that affect the body. Emotions are those things that each fear, disgust, something that won't stay with you for 2, 3, 4 days is an emotion. It's a wow, the dopamine of the emotion, the adrenaline of the emotion, wow, and it drops dopamine, which I told you, and half a second later, dopamine here. And that's more emotion. So, emotion is you hear, you want me, how are these emotions going in your body and cleansing? It's about releasing old patterns. Sometimes in this seventh code, sometimes an old pattern, you've already tensed a muscle here, there, in your leg, I don't know where. And these people who have the proper training, I haven't done the therapy, so I don't know exactly. Go there and try to loosen your leg, try to loosen your arm, try to loosen some muscle that's really blocking you. Because you're in an old pattern, you don't make yourself more flexible. Even if your breathing changes, a muscle contraction doesn't cease to be what it was. Do you understand? Then she talks about the heart. Now, yes, she talks about emotion and body together. She mixes the two things, the seven codes of energy. Then she talks about spirit. Spirit, in fact, is about expanding your perception of who you are. It's almost truly, I call it aplos. You go out realizing that everything around you, including yourself, is a very beautiful thing, this spirit and this idea that this girl talks about. Then there's the other one, which is the body code, right? Which is the seven energy codes and the body code. The body code is Brian Nelson's, okay? Brian Nelson already talks about it differently. He talks about energies, pathogens, circuits and systems, misalignments, toxins, lifestyles. That's what he's talking about, a little less. But it's in, okay? It's in. The words are different, but it's in. What are we going to do with energies? The energy he's talking about is more in the sense of this tech aura. Tech aura, as I call it, is always my expanded interoception. Interoception is what our viscera are sensing, what our bodies are sending to the brain through neurons, through axons without myelin. So the information going to the brain with axons without myelin, we call interoception. The tech aura is everything that forms or affects these axons without myelin. In terms of structure, they are unmyelinated. So certain stresses, certain cognitive processes can go and synapse there in the middle of the axon going to your brain, and it synapses there in the middle. So sometimes news or something can disrupt or affect an organ, causing more tension in this or that organ, and it depends on the body. Your body is what made that connection. So your cognition is affecting interoception, your food is affecting the organ itself, and the organ itself will send signals through these unmyelinated neurons to the brain. Your food, your drink, your behavior sometimes are affecting precisely that point. And these energies are techo. According to the body's code, it's just a matter of capturing that techo energy, the pathogens. It's inflammation in the body. What do we have to do? We have to take action. Look, this tension, this way of thinking is already creating a connection in the axons that are going up, the unmyelinated axons from the stomach that are going up to your brain. And this way of thinking is putting extra tension on your stomach, and your stomach is becoming acidic. There you go. There you go. So what's he saying? He has inflammation in his stomach right now. So it could be something cognitive, or it could be inflammation itself, either because of the food you ate or didn't eat. Circuits and systems too. This is integrating the endocrine and autonomic systems, so both the autonomic and the endocrine. So he talks about that. And misalignment. In misalignment, it's interesting to talk about. That's where the aposo comes in. And that's where therapies similar to osteopathy come in, okay? And therapy to regulate body movement. I did a therapy the other day, and my mother told me, oh boy, I do this with my right foot holding my left, but when I do it with my left, I don't do it with my left, I only do it with my right. I lift my right foot and lower it, lift my left foot, and my body kind of trembles. So I picked her up and said, come on, lie down for a bit. I laid her down a little on the floor and had her cross one leg over the other, and I tried to move her body, to make her body sway, pressing her ribs a little, pressing a little, and making the sway to see how far her elbow and knee would sway together. Because sometimes you sway and the elbow is this way and the knee is that way. There's no swaying with a single body. I swayed, it was a single body. Turn to the other side, I swayed, it was a single body. Stand up. Now lift your left leg, then your right leg. Oh, you lifted it the same way. Why? Your body, it's misaligned. The body gets misaligned, our muscles are synchronized with each other, and we always do things sitting down, and these sitting activities end up misaligning things. We have to do more things with our whole body, and I'm constantly typing, which makes it even more misaligned. So I told my mother, the next thing you know, always try to stretch as much as possible before getting out of bed. And then when I stretch as much as possible, my body tries to realign itself, and these little problems tend not to appear. But here's what he says. Here in this guy's body code, misalignment, but I'll go further into the process and tell you, in addition to misalignment, which I call after, my extended after is proprioception. It's the perception of being in the space where one perceives. your own natural perception. You close your eyes and you know your position in space. The apos, when I say this, is about perceiving yourself as a whole, and you perceive yourself in a seated or standing position in relation to this whole, a more assertive or more restricted position, a perception of belonging or of attack. This man is somewhat hostile. In this bodily position, sometimes you get into a position where you have a tension that prevents you from getting into this or that position. And then Brian Nelson says there's a misalignment. You're not flexible enough to put your body in the right position in certain environments. You're misaligned. Let's align this. Very cool, very nice. Another thing he talks about is toxins. Metabolic overload. The body metabolizes and has toxins which will cause an overload. We have to drink water, something, use a sauna, some things that Brian will possibly talk about doing in his therapies and even in his beliefs. This is important. This is important. The belief in life outside planet Earth, that whole belief, the important thing is not the belief itself, but believing, doing, reaping results, and ceasing to believe. The important thing is the result, because sometimes believing leads you astray. It's easy. Put you when you're very small, 2, 3 years old. Back then, you believed in Santa Claus, so you did certain things because you believed in Santa Claus. The important thing is the action, not the belief. Later, you stopped believing in Santa Claus, but you continue believing in other Santa Clauses. And that's okay. The point is that you have this body, and this body needs to be comfortable. In the other live stream, I talked about happiness. Happiness isn't desire, happiness is regulation. It regulates the body. These 7 energy codes give you an idea. This body code gives you an idea. It's about regulating the body. And it also talks about lifestyles, biological rhythms. Where's your sleep? Where's your exercise? Where's your walk? Where? Do you understand? That's how you regulate the body. By regulating the body, you achieve happiness. Happiness is the regulation of the body. Happiness is a perception that is aligned and regulated. In this perception, you can experience joy or you can experience depression, a little bit mild and all that, a little sadness, okay, but not a deep sadness, right? Because a deep sadness will throw the body off balance. A balanced body is happiness. Simple as that. I really like that statement. And the conclusion we can draw, and this is interesting, is what the body really knows how to do. The body doesn't know how to do everything. The body doesn't know how to do everything. Yakos, how can you say the body doesn't know how to do everything if our cognition is also part of the body? So let's separate that a little. Look, with cognition, you'll use something. The body doesn't know how to do everything. In cognition, we'll perform interoception and proprioception. There we have a mind. And with that mind, we'll try to interpret the body. But look, what does the body know how to do? Your body. What does my body know how to do? The body knows how to feel, signal, and regulate. Only the body knows how to feel, to signal, and regulate. That is the body's function. Don't try to affect the body's sensations. The body feels them. Don't try to manipulate a feeling with any ideology. If I feel pain, the body is feeling pain. Value, acknowledge, respect the pain. The body is meant to feel. If I feel pleasure, it is feeling pleasure. Value it. No, I can't feel pleasure because it's a sin. You will block your bodily process. The body is made to feel, to signal, and to regulate. It will regulate homeostasis. That's what the body is, and cognition, and books, and intellectuality. Look, what needs to understand is the mind that interprets the body. The mind which is interoception with proprioception. Then there's the brain process, which now in the upper layer brain process, mental processes, interpreting what the body and the body's position in space, blah, blah, blah. At that moment, you interpret the body, okay? But don't deny the pain. Don't deny the body's signals. Don't deny the body's regulation. I'm hungry. The stress is so much that it acts on your things or your work that your hunger has become excessive and you're experiencing binge eating. Your body is now out of whack. Go back and look at the 7 codes of. You go to the energy code or you go to Brian's body code and take a look. Whoa, you see it's full of toxins, it has pathogens, it needs a cleansing, a mystical cleansing. You can call it whatever you want, but man, if your body isn't regulated, we need to regulate it for you to be happy. If your body isn't regulated, you're not happy. That's all. And it's not that difficult. Where does the body's limit begin? And where are the limits of beliefs? That's important. The body, it's living territory. The body is living territory. This is extremely important. And regulation doesn't happen in isolation. What happens? Why am I talking about these mystical beliefs? The body is there and it is a territory. So you are the biome, you are the biome. What is giving you energy and who cleans up your waste? Let's say, where does your waste go? You have a city. Where does your city's waste go? Where does the waste collected from your house go? Where does the water that reaches your house come from? Which source does it come from? Oh, it comes from the city's water treatment plant. But which river? So there you will see the size of you. The size of you is where the water you drink comes from, where the energy you drink comes from. If I'm here in Sao Paulo, a good portion of the energy comes from Itaipu. Okay, but in Joinville, where I was, the energy came from Pirai, which is right next door, you understand? So where does the energy come from? Where does the water come from? And who collects your garbage? Where does your food come from? So that's your size. That's where your size comes from. When you have that expanded vision of yourself, then you are much bigger. Then what happens to the limits of belief? Oh, you're from another planet, you came here, you have a spirit that was incarnated there. It complicates things too much, it opens you up too much. And then you tend not to regulate your body or try to pay for guilt or pay for a belief. To be a follower, to be a follower is to cease being. You have DNA. DNA has intelligence and it knows how to adapt. As long as you don't become crystallized in a belief. Otherwise, the DNA loses its ability to adapt. Are you stuck in a rut? How is it going to cope? It's not ceasing to adapt. It's frantically trying to produce new cells, but it can't adapt. Because you're stuck in a belief, you're stuck in a bodily tension related to something you resolved, something that worked in the past, but now you don't need it anymore. So the important thing is for you to think about these two things after and after, after. You are everything you perceive and you're positioning within what you perceive. You are all of that. You are very open. You are much more than the limitation of thinking you are an avatar on the internet or something. And after, you are everywhere. You are like the green violin. You don't ask who I am, ask where I am. I am this. And then you become freer, more relaxed, and let your body regulate itself, let your body feel, signal its pains and pleasures, and regulate itself. And life becomes happier, broader, more pleasant. Big hug to you all. Until next Wednesday.